We are
Yep,
going,
okay.
so this is game 3 of a best of 5. It is between GLSnute, which is of course Gamer League Snute, and TSLHyuN, which is the SCV Life. And I'm SC2 England, my lovely co-cast is Pewey, and Pewey, as you pointed out, this could be the sec game.
It could be. Well, it's match point already for HyuN, so he wins this. He is our tournament winner. And yeah, as I was saying, like I had to play Bly on this map, and I was like, well, when you have someone who's just much better than you, when it comes to like the map veto, you're just like, oh, choose whatever map. And if they're worse than you, you just like choose whatever map because you just smash them anyway. And I was like, Bly, just choose whatever map. And he chose this. I was like, just kick me while I'm down. Like you're already gonna utterly destroy me. And then he just, what he done? He done a proxy hatch in my wall, so I couldn't wall off. And then he just
I cast the game yesterday of cats doing that. It was so brilliant.
Yeah, and then like you just can't wall off, and then the Zerglings run around, and then like they run into your mineral line, and then they normally follow it up with roaches. And yeah, he just stunned me.
Anyway, going back, we've got our first variation in the build so far. Snute is getting a gas first, so it's going to be a 14-14 build out of Snute. I reckon it's going to be against the hatch first from HyuN, and that's exactly what we're going to see. My powers of prediction incredible, Pewey.
Well, it's HyuN, so
like every game.
Yeah.
To be fair, he didn't game 1.
No, just because like that's a bit of a fair thing to do. You know, the first game of a best of 5, they might not have played. They might have played. They might know each other's style. There's a few mind games that came into it, but this map, like, I don't cast much on this map, but normally when I do, for some reason, it just seems to bring out the worst in people. This map does.
It's a really interesting map, but for all intensive purposes, it's not that bad.
No.
It's interesting. I can see why in some matchups it'd be terrible. I mean, in PvZ for the Protoss it'd be terrible. That wall off is so huge.
Yes.
Also, the third would be really awkward to take. But again, the third not too easy to take for a Zerg either. You go for the one in the kind of furthest position along. Just build basically across, but then you've got a lot of distance to cover and so many entrance paths, and also that centre bit of rock is just awkward because it makes some chokes. But we'll wait and see how this plays out. I think 14-14 with speed and then pulling the drones that Snute's going for now is a really good opening.
Yeah, that's fine. And like I was wondering if I was looking. Okay, he's gone back to his gas though. So
yeah, he will now because he's gone off. Basically, you pull him out of the gas to get enough to get out the hatchery quickly. Then you just put them back in, ready to go into banelings. So
just in case,
it's a really nice play. And as Snoop, by getting that hatchery, isn't overcommitting to it or anything, but can still be a bit of a pain for HyuN because he hasn't got his speed out yet. Only just starting it should be now. There we go. So literally everything going fine, but obviously 80 seconds behind basically HyuN in terms of speed.
Ooh, nice.
And the baning nest not even started yet for HyuN either. So you've got to think about the reinforcements as well. That's the real benefit of the Zergling speed, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, it helps you getting a better surround, but once banelings are in, you can reinforce quickly, build the banelings, and then very quickly flood with a lot of Zerglings if things go in your favour, which, if they do, is fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. And
also, if not,
like,
you can run away with your tails between your legs.
Yeah, and like being in Zergling speed is such a ground-breaking upgrade. Like you just can't go, and especially in ZvZ, you can't just not have Zergling speed. And as we can see, HyuN knows that all these Zerglings are coming, and he just abandons his hatchery. And Snoot is going for the banelings.
Snoot could take this here and now, to be honest. The banelings are going to completely eradicate any Zergling counter pushes. And the Zerglings are trickling in as well, which is not something you want to be going on because they get surrounded so easily, Pewey. And now here comes the banelings. The queens are trying to pick them off as best they can, but not focusing that effectively.
One queen goes down. And so far, all the 4 banelings are still alive, and the Zerglings are getting in on the queen's fight. One of them explodes against some banelings, and the rest of them explode on nothing.
That was really nice by HyuN there in terms of defense. That was just so good. And he's got his own banelings now, and if you look in terms of workers lost, none.
He's so good, man.
And HyuN has stayed. He's actually ahead in workers, or was momentarily. Basically equal workers now. This is just amazingly good play by HyuN. Like, incredible.
Yeah. Well, you were just saying, like I'm not a Zerg, so for those watching it, like, why I'm not fully in depth. I'm not a Zerg, so yeah, you were like, this could kill him, and now nowhere like HyuN just loses nothing and it's totally fine. So
yeah, because that's the thing with Ling Bling and why it's really stressful playing and also watching is that Baneling hits can make or break this matchup. It all comes down to your control. Like, those 4 Banelings were amazingly dealt with by HyuN with his queens. But likewise, if just one detonated on a group of Zerglings, it could have gone completely differently. If 2 had gone into the middle line and detonated, hugely damaging. And that's the problem. But HyuN is now counter-attacking really effectively. And
yeah, we have 2 Banelings already up here with 2 thin. There's a couple of Zerglings that just run into HyuN's main, but they got taken care of quite quickly, and those
Baneling detonating on the spine is less than ideal. Trying to go in, get a couple of drones on red health, but to be honest, detonating Banelings on spines is not great.
No, not at all, and there were absolutely no drones killed there by HyuN either. He did get a nice little Baneling hit on a couple of them, but the second Baneling running into the mineral line got picked off before it could explode against drones. And now it's like Snute's turn again. He's like, okay, you've had your turn, my turn.
Now this is really interesting. Snute just started his Spire, and I'm really surprised by that because obviously in game 2 he got wrecked by that.
He did, yeah, and his lair is around the same time in his last game. Like HyuN's is only now 50 seconds, and of course Snute's has been done for about a minute already.
And obviously HyuN has got a much later rotor on this game, but I still just think
HyuN's going for third.
2-base Muta in ZvZ is dead and buried, in my opinion. Especially at a high level, it's just so difficult to effectively pull it off because your opponent always just has that option of saying, I'm going to come and kill you.
Yeah.
Do whatever you want, bro, I'm just going to come at you. And Snute is taking his third behind this, which is good, but HyuN's was started a good amount sooner, about 10 seconds or so that's going to play into it. And of course, once those mutas pop, you can just get out a lot of queens and a lot of spores and be fine, and then just go and kill them with roaches.
Yep. Infestation Pit has now been thrown down for HyuN, so tech choices plays into his favour really.
The other key thing to know is obviously, while those first 6 mutas are on their way out already, it's going to be quite a while till Snoop gets a lot more. You need kind of 10 to 15 before you start being really effective with mutas, because that's when you can start happily engaging a group of queens.
Oh, and Snoot didn't even get the 2 drones turning into a gas there. Oh, one gets cancelled and he goes for it again and it gets cancelled.
That is just sick micro by HyuN there. Really just being incredible. HyuN has such great control. It's absolutely sick. But Snoot, he's giving his all. He is ahead in supply, but I still can't help but feel these mutas, they're going to get cleaned up. Spores have been chucked down. 2 at the main, 2 at the natural. 3 now at the main, or at the third. I know, Transfuse is absolutely OP, basically.
Roaches are turning around. Roaches were headed up towards the third of Snoop.
It's because the Zerglings are running in, and the Queens and Spores will get taken down very quickly by Zerglings. Their third's hatch is getting picked off, but suddenly we've got an awful lot of Zerglings coming in, and basically these Roaches have to clean up very, very quickly and deal with it very effectively. But the Muta Zergling ball is really difficult to deal with Roach alone, because Roaches attack so slowly. If there's lots of small units which basically take hits, his problem is the Roach one getting focused down.
Oh wow, it's nearly dead as well. Holy crap, there's one more volley and it's dead, and that's a big deal, right?
Yeah, that is a big loss.
For the next 55 seconds, but still.
Yeah, HyuN has restarted it, but of course now HyuN no longer has the option of just going to go and kill him. The only other advantage of Roaches is they're very low in terms of massive fungal there.
Gets 5 of them, one of them gets sniped, and now he splits his mutas to try and pick off an extra thin,
and I think it was good that HyuN didn't actually try and get more fungals down there, but Zergling's again coming and pushing into the third here for Snoot, and
he's targeting the Spore Crawler. The Spore Crawler dies and the mirrors are coming down, but the Infestors are in transit towards the third just to
and now that is a massive group, a huge fungal, that is absolutely massive. Chain fungling is definitely worth it there. So many are going to go down, more chain fungals everywhere, and while the Infestors are cleaned up now, some Infested turns are getting lobbed down, and with the Queen as well, it's going to be a pain.
Nice. That was really good trade though. He killed all the Infestors, an extra Queen, and he's gonna get this third, right?
He will. That'll go down. There's nothing he can do. More infestors are in the way, but the concern for Snute now.
There's 2 queens on the map off creep.
The transfuse didn't go down. That is a huge misclick there by HyuN. That was kind of basically essential. And well,
Snute's in a solid spot now.
Yeah, I would say Snute can comfortably take this if he plays it right. He's got his third up as well, remember. He's ahead in workers by, well, 6, 7?
With an extra mine base, so saturation is better.
It's just all on the money. The only thing which is the problem is HyuN does have infestors out, and a lot of very low HP mutas are on the field, and that's ultimately going to be the problem. But what Snute is doing with these mutas at the moment is great. He's just running around looking for overlords because they can't shoot back. And now this third base is going to get probably denied again by HyuN here. Even if the infestors move down, I don't think he will. That's going to get cancelled. And of course, behind this, Snute is taking his 4th Pewee.
Nice. He is also, road speed is also 30 seconds complete. Burrow, +1 missile attack, and carapace is in production for Snute, but still no infestation pit as far as I can tell.
To be honest, so he doesn't need to massively. He's in a good spot. He's got these mutas which are just keeping HyuN pinned back, keeping the map control. Very brave move using a couple of mutas going, but he did split it, but he still risked losing 4, like quite easily as well there.
I like the way he's flown around with the Overseer as well, so he can get the creep tumors.
Yeah, I think that's a good move. It's denying vision ultimately. And there's a lot of debate about whether it's better or worse to spread creep in a ZvZ. I personally think it's worth it. Just because
I like creep.
It gives you the vision, which I think is the most important thing. But again, especially once mutas are out, it's essential because you can't just spread your overlords for the vision. And I mean, if you quickly flick onto Snute's camera and look at his map vision compared to that of HyuN, then obviously.
But we do have a big engagement coming down. I think this could be the final fight. Snute is
massive
maxed out with loads of roaches.
So that is awesome.
That was sick fungal. But all the fungals are gone now. There's still mutas flying around, killing stuff.
But there's just too many infested Terrans there, and HyuN will hold for the moment, but it's a matter of time now, in my opinion, Pewee. Even though they are on equal workers, there are just more bases for Snute.
Yeah.
By a lot.
Look at the supplies. 190V, 143. Income shows it's only actually 3 halves the difference. It's not a massive amount, but there is also the extra gas, the extra bases, better saturation, etc.
Snute getting those tunneling claws as well, but the Overseers are being kept in here, and we can't actually see much. There's just so many overlords and everything there. A better arc there for Snute, definitely. Upgrade-wise, it's 1-1 against 2-0.
He's just running, and this should be it, right?
It should be.
Barely any energy.
We've
got 2 infestors come down with some fungals, but they'll probably throw Terrans because.
No, this is all over now. Snute has completely surrounded. He's at double the supply pretty much. There's nothing HyuN can do, so we are going to see this going to game 4. This is definitely over now. And HyuN there with a build, good GG. So that was game 3, and Snute from
HyuN
Clutches of Death comes back.
HyuN